I stand behind what I said, 10 toes down.
So I haven't done like content creation in a while, and it's weird doing it because I forget what the fuck am I doing? But I had to talk shit about this one because what the fuck do you mean, James Charles? Okay, so we all know James Charles. A majority and a lot of the dramas that he's gotten into, like, he has caused for himself. It's not like a whistleblower just comes out one day and was like, this happened, and like they're just spreading false information. Like, he has done everything to himself that has went bad in his life. He's done. Like, single-handedly. He has done it to himself. Like, James Charles is just a fucking creep, and there's, like, nothing else I can really say past that. And I feel like a majority of people, and just quickly before we get into this, I feel like a majority of people forget he wasn't just canceled. Sure, that's what the internet likes to say is, oh, this person got canceled for this. He committed a fucking crime, like, a felony crime, and, like, I don't know, like, a world without consequences for him. Recently, right? Spirit Airlines had a mass layoff of over 17,000 employees, and one of these employees just so happened to reach out to James Charles in, you know, a way to try to get some form of cash assistance, because obviously times are extremely fucking tough, especially if you are reliant on one job for income, and then you lose that job. You only have so long before you can actually not afford your bills anymore. This woman decided to reach out to James Charles, and I do want to say woman and emphasize on that, because I feel like if the genders were different, it would be a little bit different, and I do want to, like, get into that a little bit further once we start reacting to this, but decided to, instead of just see that this woman is asking him for assistance, like, hey, I want to start a GoFundMe, would you like to donate? Like, I need assistance right now, I lost my job, I'm going through a really tough time. Instead of him just looking at that DM and simply just being like, no. You know, like, no. I just don't feel like donating or, like, even viewing this or entertaining this. He could have just moved on. Like, he could have just scrolled past it like the average individual would if they don't want to donate. But instead, he decided to take to TikTok and make a video about how this girl is entitled and lazy and needs to just go get a fucking job. And in the way in which his demeanor was for the entirety of the video is actually very disgusting. And just to remind you as well, nobody asked him to do this. He did this on his own free will. That's very fun, and that's, like, another key thing to remember. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. Also, the gentleman you're going to be seeing on the screen while we're reacting to this James Charles clip is going to be Jake Baz. Feel free to go check out his channel. He's a very good commentator over here on YouTube in the community space, but feel free to go check him out. That's going to be the guy who's on the left side of the screen while we're reacting to this.
I just got a DM on here from a girl that said, "Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's a GoFundMe link. Any donations help." I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do.
Just, you know, it's, for me, what does it is the super condescending and performative tone that he has while explaining somebody's situation that should have never been public in the first place. This was a private DM about somebody's personal matter that they're dealing with in their life. And, you know, James has no obligation to donate to this person or even respond. But the fact that he decided to take it upon himself in his own free will and initiative to respond to this individual, but in a public video where he's mocking her essentially, like, oh, you need money, that's so fucking tough, like, get a fucking job. Like, are you kidding me?
Talking about her like he's trying to train a fucking puppy. It's ridiculous from him, innit? Absolutely tone deaf, and obviously this bit got clipped to shreds, but it just keeps getting worse.
You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled.
Holy fuck, dude. Who pissed in his cornflakes this morning? Because there's no way. Why is he crashing out this hard? Why is he calling this random individual he's never met and does not know a piece of shit, a lazy, entitled piece of shit who needs to get a job? Mind you, probably a very hardworking employee who just lost their job. And it's not funny. I know I snickered a little bit, but the reality of the situation, James Charles is calling this hardworking employee who just lost their job because their company went into bankruptcy, and now not only themselves, but hundreds of other employees are now out of work and in the same shit position. And let's be so clear, the job markets aren't job marketing. And honestly, if you would lose your job in today's society, and you're not sure when you're going to be able to be getting another one, especially if you're just base adult in your home, everything is kind of falling on you financially, you probably would start a GoFundMe, and not only as a last resort, but just to be safe, strictly because even when you do get another job, that's going to be a process and a time period itself before you even secure another job. But then once you do, and again in today's society, who knows how long that's going to take. Even with experience, it's hard to get a job. Even with degrees, it's still hard to find certain jobs. But the fact that he's like, just what the fuck. And even if this person does get another job, like the next day, they're still going to be going a certain amount of time without pay. And that's just going to be shit. Like, it's hard. And honestly, for James Charles to have been in a more entitled position, essentially his entire life, it's kind of insane to see that this is his reaction to somebody who reached out privately to him, for help. And he's blasting her situation publicly for content on his social media page that he's then going to profit off of. Because let's be clear, the employee in question that he is talking shit about for asking help with a GoFundMe is an employee who essentially did work 9 to 5, if not longer hours. But what I'm trying to get at is they worked a normal hard job that we probably as influencers would have a hard time going back to after living such a privileged, and yes, it is a privilege in life to be able to just randomly post on social media whatever the fuck you want and to get paid for it. And I know James Charles did work hard to get to where he is. It does take time to get to where you can just post like one video a week, which is essentially what he's doing, and just get away with being able to live because he has his makeup brands, he has other things going for him, that he is financially stable, and he did work hard for this. But to come from such an entitled position of knowing that that is your lifestyle, to then talk down to somebody who lost their job that they work very hard at, is just very tone deaf to me and insane, and just goes to show you James Charles is exactly who James Charles says that he is. When are we going to start believing this?
My position is privileged, very privileged to do this full time. And I would imagine that anyone else that is doing a job like that has been laid off and is now unemployed, they would be struggling. But James Charles, someone who has never been unemployed in his life because he's constantly gone from when he was just a kid into stardom and been born and brought up into this multi-million-pound empire that he's grown, he is not going to know that, is he? He doesn't have a clue what any of the normal type of people do.
And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm going to send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God. Welcome to the real world, sweetheart. People lose their jobs every day, and you're white, pretty, and able-bodied. You're in a much better position than a lot of other people out here who are trying clearly much harder to make a better life for themselves. Why would I help you? Aside from that, 17,000 people lost their jobs at Spirit Airlines. Why do you think you need the GoFundMe?
Hey, I might be wrong. I'm just gonna go out on a whim here, but maybe she thinks that she might need a GoFundMe because she's one of the 17,000 people who lost a job, but that's crazy thinking. Like, girl, so many other people are struggling. How dare you just make it about you? You know, like, that's like the mindset I feel like he's like getting at. Like, what the fuck are we even doing? But then the comment that he made also about, well, you're white, you're privileged, and you're able-bodied, so go get a job. Like, I do understand, like, there are studies and there are things out there where if you are white, it is sometimes easier to get different jobs, and that's unfortunate. But that's just such a weird argument. I genuinely want to know why James Charles is so fucking mad, why he's so aggravated that this woman reached out to him for help. You know what I mean? And I do understand, because he said before, like, oh, you copy and pasted this message to me and like 100 other people, like 100 fucking people, so in that time you've been copying and pasting, you could have been applying for jobs. And, like, I do understand. But she probably was applying for jobs, and it was like, just in case this falls through, let me do this too, and then I'll keep applying after. Like, we don't know what she's doing. And what's crazy is we would have known, you would have known, if this was, like, her last step, or if, like, this was genuinely, like, the only, you know, the last resort, the last thing she could do. You would have known more about the situation had you just, I don't know, this is so crazy, DM'd her back. Because, bro, I'm gonna be so for real, James Charles has uploaded at least 30 minutes, if not more, of just these videos of him ranting to this employee, and then the other videos, which we're gonna be getting to in a minute, because he's made follow-up videos that he's deleted, and then you know, he'll edit them and then re-upload it and then delete that, then, you know, try to make another apology for the apology of the video he tried to do. Like, it's just, he's being so messy right now. But he dead ass could have saved himself all this drama and all this time and all this anger had he just reached out and not made this private matter public. Could have took 2 seconds, babe.
If only the person who lost their job was a 17-year-old fan of James Charles, it might have gone a lot differently. Allegedly. Allegedly. We'll keep that in, but we will say allegedly.
I can at least, like, 1% respect the mentality of closed mouths don't get fed, doesn't hurt to try. But honestly, it does hurt to try because now you pissed me off, okay? I'm not the one. Go find Mr. Reese. This is literally his entire shtick. I'm sure the next YouTube video is literally going to be like, I rehired all 17,000 of the Spirit Airlines employees, and it's going to be the real-life Hunger Games. The last one of them to leave the Spirit Airlines plane gets to be the CEO of the new company and gets a house and a car and $10 million that everybody else does. Like, go find that video to compete in, baby. I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you. All you did was lost your job.
Like, this is just insane. Because what do you mean? But hey, James Charles is right about one thing. He's not the one. I mean, people don't reach out to him when they need help. He's not a charitable person. He's not Mr. Beast in the slightest, and he is right. If you want help and you're reaching out to influencers, try to find the more charitable ones who kind of go along the lines of helping the audience. But I will say, while you're not somebody who is like a charitable influencer who, unlike Moist Critical, would probably take this challenge on, I mean, it's just kind of crazy that this is the way in which you feel the need to respond to it, to a private DM. It's not like they're tagging you publicly and you're like, oh, this is my thought on it, and it's like a public post. That this is just like, this was so not needed.
Welcome to the real world. I can at least understand if you were like, James, I'm a longtime fan. Here's a trillion years of DMs and my support for you. I love you. I'm suffering with a really rare genetic disease that there is no cure for, and I'm trying to raise money for myself and other people that have this. Maybe I would help. Maybe I would help because I love you and I appreciate you. This, you lost your job? What are we gonna do? Nothing! I'm gonna do nothing. You know what you need to do? Go find a new one, girl. Put some effort into the workplace.
Yo, I love... Wait. Did I just start my sentence by saying yo? You eat one bag of pistachios and you become a different person. I don't recognize myself in the mirror right now. But honestly, I just think it's so bizarre that he's saying, oh, I'm not gonna help you. You're white, you're privileged, you're able-bodied. God forbid you lost your job. There's so many other people out there who's losing and getting fucked in the job economy. Like, it's not just you. Don't make it about yourself. You're not even a fan of me. Okay, but he did say then, it might have been different if you reached out to me and said you're going through, like, the worst possible fucking... just the worst possible thing imaginable. One of the most rarest fucking forms of disease that there's no cure for, that you're fighting like tooth and nail to survive on a daily basis. Maybe then, and only then, if you provide receipts of following him for years and years and DMing him with no response on end, maybe then he'd help you with a little bit. You guys, I have seen James Charles crash out in videos before, but honestly, this just puts it into almost a new perspective for me that this is truly this man. This is just the way that he is. And he's showing you guys and myself every day when he does these like random crash outs and uploads. Well, not every day. We know his schedule shit. He uploads like once a week. But we've seen time and time again in these dramas, this is just him. This is just the way that he is. And then after he gets backlash for being the way that he is, he tries to be like, fucking content creators just, you know, stream snipe and they clip things and they take things out of context. Yeah. Okay. Now again, the original video of him ranting got deleted, of course, but people saved it because they just assumed, oh, this is such a bad moment for James. He's truly crashing out. He's going to regret this one. And he did. He deleted the video. People already saved it. But then he decided to make like a response video, like, not really necessarily like an apology, but more so just trying to like clarify what he meant, which you can't really clarify what you mean, babe. We know nothing good by it. He tried to make a video kind of clarifying a few things, but then he deleted that video, then edited, like re-uploaded that video as like a re-edited version of it, then deleted that again, and then made another video. And it's just at this point pretty messy.
People were like enjoying the video, saying it was a valid point, but it definitely started causing some discourse in the comments, and a lot of people were just saying it was out of touch and insensitive, and they're right. It was definitely a harsh choice of words, maybe not my best video, and I deleted it. But of course the internet is forever. And now a lot of content creators are using like the 5-second clip in the very beginning where I'm like, you're a lazy piece of shit, get a new job, to upload their cute little think pieces being like, influencers are all so out of touch. This is so disgusting. You don't know how hard it is in the job market these days.
Dude, I'm so sorry, by the way. Like, all my commentary filler video has been, like, this James Charles soda clip. I had more. I had more to use, but none of them saved, so it's just, like, James Charles drinking 12 different Coca-Colas. But this is such a typical influencer apology also, like, saying, yeah, I posted something, and, you know, a lot of people agreed with it. There are a lot of people, like, really agreeing and saying I was right and, like, understanding what I was saying. But then there was a few people who just didn't get it, you know? And so, you know, it's causing a little bit of discourse, just a little bit. And so I deleted the video, took it down. But I was a little bit out of touch. So, like, my bad for that. But, yeah, that's just a crazy apology. Like, you're not really apologizing. You're saying I was right and people agreed with me, but I do understand I was a little bit out of touch. That's not an apology. And to be fair, people are using that clip of him saying to go get a job, and it's not out of context, so. And the fact that that was the one that he brought up is actually insane, that he's using that one specific moment of the video, which was like a 5-second clip, but it's not that 5-second clip that's the issue for people. It was the entirety of the 4-minute video that you posted and your attitude in general towards the situation that made it a problem. Not the 5-second clip of you telling her to go get a fucking job.
Oh my God, give me a break. I am out of touch, first and foremost. Okay, I am never going to be one of those influencers that gets online and pretends to be poor so I can come across as relatable to my audience. I think it's tacky, I think it's annoying, and I also think it's quite insulting to the audience watching, as if you guys are going to be fooled into thinking that. You've been watching me for 10 years now. It's no secret that I have been able to find success doing what I've done. It didn't start that way though. I started from literally nothing and had a dream for myself and was determined to literally do anything to make it happen. And luckily, I've been blessed to be able to do that and now call this my full-time job.
That is a hilarious response and a terrible apology. How do you manage to explain that, yeah, you are out of touch, and then go on to say how you put in that much hard work and effort into what you were doing to get to where you were? We'll just ignore, you know, the minor hiccups along the way, if you'll pardon the pun.
A lot of people these days do not have the make it work mentality. They have no desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation. They immediately result in asking for help. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. In my personal opinion, though, it should be a last resort. The person that I made the video about yesterday lost their job last week at Spirit Airlines, along with 17,000 other people. And granted, I don't know this person. Maybe making a GoFundMe link was really their last resort. I just personally do not believe that to be the case, because I know for a fact that they sent this same exact DM to hundreds of different influencers and celebrities.
Now, it is valid, okay? I will give him that. It is valid to say that you shouldn't be asking for handouts unless you actually do need them, because, you know, people do work hard for their money, and, you know, unless you're like James Charles in a very privileged position to where you can make idle income based off of the prior accomplishments that you had in your life, this is easily believable for a last resort that she is starting to go GoFundMe. But like I said earlier, instead of privately messaging her and trying to like figure it out or see why she's asking for this, or if this is her last resort and she really is that desperate, because times are tough, instead of reaching out to her and asking, he just made this a public matter, which did not need to be public. And let's be so realistic. For a majority of us, we are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck and then you lose your job, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. You don't have a lot of time to secure another paycheck because you're already living from one to another. And it takes time when you get another job to get another paycheck. It takes time to get another job. So this essentially could have literally been her last resort. Who are we to judge, and who are we to say, well, I just don't feel personally that was her last resort, but you didn't ask. Like, we're not even going to finish taking a look at this one because he literally just rambles and tries to push his narrative, so we're going to be done with this reaction. But the next video, he uploaded a part 3 to this. After deleting the first 2 videos, uploaded a part 3 to which he then deleted and then re-uploaded, just like a more compact and edited version of that part 3.
It was basically me yelling at the camera, being super upset and frustrated because this person had never followed me, never supported me before, and it was clear that she had basically copied and pasted this DM to every influencer and celebrity she possibly could, asking for a handout. And I called her lazy, I said she was stupid, and I said she should have spent the time that she spent copying and pasting the message, applying for jobs instead.
Yeah, I think that's the issue in the first place, James, is the fact that you got this enraged, this infuriated over nothing. Over nothing, babe, because you made this a situation. It didn't have to be a situation. As an influencer, you probably get so many random DMs from bot accounts even that are trying to like promote webcam links or, you know, advertisements or just bots in general like sending random shit. Are you crashing out over every single weird DM that you get, or is it just the ones that simply don't follow you when they're, you know, having a bad time in life? I don't see why he crashed out this hard over this woman just simply saying, I'm having a hard time and I need a little bit of help. And I know I don't follow you. I know I'm not, you know, big in following you. But also, okay, this is also what I'm thinking. She didn't follow him before, which I don't see the big issue of that. There's so many people on social media. You're not going to follow everybody. But I don't see the harm in reaching out if you do need assistance, because what's the harm of reaching out if you do need help, you know? All you have to do is just ignore it if you don't want to help, and you don't have to make it a big public deal like you did, James. And honestly, that's everybody's point, and you're missing everybody's point. He thinks that people are just hating on him because he has a bad take about somebody starting to GoFundMe. That's not the case. The case is that you made this such a large public situation and deal when it was a private DM. That's never had to happen.
It was stupid. It was rude, it was obnoxious, it was privileged, and most importantly, it was completely fucking unnecessary. When I saw that DM, I absolutely had the choice to ignore it and say absolutely nothing at all and move on with my day. But instead, I couldn't even tell you why. Her message just triggered me, and I decided instead to make a video about it. And I bashed her, and it was obnoxious, and I shamed her for asking for help in a situation where she was clearly really struggling, and this could have been her absolute last resort. I have no idea what was going on in her life, and I should have never assumed that she was just copying and pasting this DM as an easy way out. I don't know. I just don't know. A lot of messages like this every single day, and for me personally, it definitely sucks to receive messages from people that don't follow you and don't support you, treating you like our personal ATM or bank account. But what I'm sure sucks even more is not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from and not being sure whether or not you're going to be able to put food on the table for yourself and your family. So it really doesn't matter what my intentions were behind making the video, because it came across as super privilege and like I was basically shaming anybody that's unemployed for not trying hard enough to get a job.
Okay, just real quick, because this is really what I want to talk about really quickly. He said, I don't know why I posted that video. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what came over me. It triggered me, and I wanted to talk about it. No, okay, you know why you wanted to post the video, okay? Because you said it yourself multiple times. TikTok is the platform you feel the most comfortable on. You're comfortable being yourself on TikTok. So what you thought was you would just upload this video ranting because those are your true feelings on the situation, and you got backlash for it. Wow, shocker, surprising, unexpected, the irony. But you posted this video talking shit thinking it was going to be cute and quirky and your audience was going to laugh and back you, but then you realized, oh, that's not the response I was looking for. Let me do damage control and say, I don't know why I posted it. Like, I was just triggered. I'm not somebody's personal ATM or bank account. And it's like, it's so sad and frustrating when somebody doesn't even support you, and like, that's what they look at you and view you as is a personal ATM and bank account. Please shut the fuck up. But then also, like, just also, I love the immediate damage control after. And James Charles, this is one of those apologies where it's not an apology. It's, my feelings are valid, but I do understand where this person's coming from with this. It did kind of seem like that. But my feelings are valid and what I said was true. Oh, but also I do understand where this person was coming from and why it could have been, you know, twisted around. But I'm right and I'm valid, and I'm right. Like, that's literally, like, his whole argument here. Oh, it's so hard to be a celebrity with all this fucking money and millions in my bank account. Whatever would I do with it? Oh, somebody reaches out, they need assistance. Fuck you, I'm not a personal bank or ATM for you. But then also, oh, it would be really hard to not know how you're going to feed your family and where your next paycheck's coming from. And, you know, the fear of being homeless and evicted in the big 2026 because times are tough and fucking inflation is still inflation. Like I said it before, James Charles is just such an entitled brat, and I just don't understand how people in this situation truly are shocked. Because there are people who are shocked that James reacted this way or said this on the internet. I am not one of them. This is expected. This is his personality. This is his character, okay? I think the most shocking thing about this situation is still the audacity that this man has to say the things that he says. That's the most shocking part about this, is just the blatant audacity, but this was also expected at the same time.
I feel awful because that wasn't my intention and it really hurt a lot of people. And I know that it's not that easy. And if this person happened to choose sending out GoFundMe links as their method of trying to make it by, who am I to judge? Especially when you consider the fact that my method of figuring it out and getting by was making makeup videos online. I just happened to get really lucky, and now, years later, I'm in a blessed and privileged position. But as somebody with a platform, it's my responsibility to humble myself and to never take what I have for granted.
Okay, this is the next day, me editing this video and, like, actually creating this. Okay, so hear me out. There was a guy who uploaded a TikTok to TikTok. He went to TikTok and made a TikTok. I'm sorry, I don't know why I worded it that way. And what he did was pulled up a GoFundMe video, and he had showed where James Dickinson had donated $500 to the Spirit Airline. See, I say Spirit. Somebody made a fucking $500 donation under the names James Dickinson, and that's what I've been trying to say. And this is why I don't want to hear shit. When somebody gets in my comment section, they're like, revoke, like, oh, you're saying this wrong, or like, oh, what do you mean by this? Like, okay, it's not really, I just say things wrong a lot, okay, but it's not what I mean. You gotta bear with. So let's watch the video, because this guy said that James Charles donated just $500 to this individual. But I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
I finally found the GoFundMe for the Spirit Airlines employee who reached out to James Charles asking for help. And when I saw she's only asking for $1,600, then look, to only donate $500? You know what this makes me think of? Being a server and having to put together tips to pay my rent, which is exactly why you can tell that James Charles has never had to struggle a day in his life. Because they might not be able to cancel you for all the weird stuff you do, but haven't you ever heard that song, We All Need Somebody to Lean On? I just hope when your time comes, you have someone you can depend on. Have a great day.
Now, this is what's interesting, is we do have proof that that is the actual GoFundMe. It is the girl named Amber who reached out to James Charles in the first place for funds, for assistance, and James made those hateful videos about her. We do have confirmation now, we're going to be getting into that in a minute, that that is the true account. But the person who donated went by the name of James Dickinson, $500. That is James's name. James is a James Charles Dickinson. But under the same GoFundMe, and mind you, this is after some time has passed, like clearly by the amount that's been donated, he donated $5,000 under like his actual James Charles name. So what I think happened in that situation is possibly somebody else named James Dickinson could have potentially just donated $500, and people are like, oh, that has to be James Charles. And then James donated on his real account, and people are like, oh. Now, he crashed out fairly bad over this, okay? And so, in my mind, he was saying how she copy and pasted this message to 100 other celebrities, and she's sending a GoFundMe link and giving this sob story of how she lost her job. And I was assuming it would be, like, a GoFundMe link and, like, 3-4 paragraphs of a sob story of, like, what led up to this and, like, what she feels and what she's doing. Like, I assumed it would be an actual sob story that was getting DM'd to everybody and why he crashed out that bad. But even then, like, not really a valid crash out. But anyways, this is what she DM'd him. And this is shocking.
Last thing, that name under Gypsy Rose Blanchard's $500 donation, James Dickinson, that also donated $500. Supposedly that is James Charles. And when James decided to humiliate her instead of helping her or just being silent or just sharing the link if he didn't want to donate, this is all she said to him. This is all she said. So all that other stuff he made up, he just made all that up.
Y'all, she messaged him, sent the GoFundMe link, and then said, Spirit Airlines closed, leaving me without a job, anything will help, with a yellow heart. Yeah, she probably was copying and pasting that and sending it to other people because that's an unfortunate situation, so let me just spread the word. She is outsourcing. It's valid. But that was it. Like, that was it. That was all she said. His response to crash out this bad is so insane. He didn't respond. He didn't say shit. So she decided to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you by sending you my GoFundMe. I thought you would never see. Because realistically, like, let's put on our thinking caps for a minute. If you're gonna DM celebrities, you don't expect them to see it. They get so many DMs on a daily basis. Do you think you sending your one little DM, you think that you're gonna be seen in this sea full of individuals and you're gonna get picked? Probably not. So she probably really didn't expect a response. let alone one like the one that he's given. Now, he had DM'd Amber back, and he gave her, like, this whole giganto paragraph of him apologizing, allegedly. I mean, I say allegedly just because I don't think it's a true apology. He damage control. But anyway, let's read it. And, wow, I am mad at the first line. This is fucked. This is fucked. Okay, excuse my language. Hi, Amber. I wanted to reach out privately with an apology for the video I made. You bashed her publicly, then said, let me reach out privately when she reached out to you privately in the first place, and you took it public, and then now that you got the backlash and you drug her through the mud, you want to make it private again? It don't work like that. I want to try to read it in like a James Charles voice. I'm not good at it. Let me see. Hi, Amber. I wanted to reach out privately with an apology for the video I made. It was disgraceful and completely unnecessary, and there is no excuse for me yelling and berating someone for asking for help in a shitty situation that was completely out of their control. I'm so sorry for adding to what was already a distressing time. I can't do it. I'm so ashamed for most only the video, but also for being so disgustingly out of touch. I was sent your video today and was so glad to see your GoFundMe has exploded, but I also know that getting attention online can be scary and overwhelming, especially when you never asked for it in the first place. No, she didn't. That's a very fun general realization he had. I've spent the last few days reading stories from real people about what it's actually like losing a job without notice, and also learning about the journey to find a new one when so many people are going through the same situation. I've never read something more influencer in my entire fucking life. So fucking influencer coded. At least he's trying to educate himself about the real world. I side-eyed the camera. You can't see that, but I side-eyed. I don't believe what I just said. When he says he's been educating himself and reading real stories from real people, what he means is he's been looking at the comment sections of people talking shit about this. And, he's getting that education. He said, I've just donated to your GoFundMe, but also please know I'm here if there is anything else I can help with or do. Also, fully understand if you never want to hear from me again. I genuinely wish you all... Oh my god. So sweet. Wow, it was not on my 2026 bingo cards that James Charles would start another drama for himself and then do damage control. That was so unexpected. Oh my god. Like, we all saw this coming, guys. Like, yeah, that it is what it is. We all saw this coming, and I just think it's so crazy, this whole situation. Everybody's talked about it. I wanted to hop on and just start talking shit too, so hi. Bye. Like, that's the end of the video. I don't know why I said hi. My bad.